Good afternoon to all of you. Today we are going to conduct in-house training in the BHAGWAT VIDYAPEETH, CHAPRA, and the title is towards you. This is the title, Teaching and Learning Style. Really, we the teachers belong from the society who always like to make some reform in the society regarding the students and the teaching methods. So why cannot we think about such type of styles? Either we are learners or we are the teachers. But in the modern era, our role is going to change and we are going to become like counselor. We like to give our students some extra knowledge, teach them the behavior, the manner, and after all comes the role of style. So you may think, what is a style? Style is an art. Style is the goal of every man because the style becomes individual. Every individual has his own style, and such type of styles makes him different in the society. He makes his own creation, his own identity towards his style. So now we will think about the style and then teaching and learning a style that should be ideal for the classroom. And that is very clear that teaching and learning a style is always depends on the classroom, school mission, statement, our ideology, teachers' philosophy, and teachers' concentration. All those things depends on our willpower. So we'll have to make ourselves independent regarding the style. Then that is called the style of such and such teacher. So every teacher creates his own style, either it is teaching or learning. Next. Now what are teaching styles? Teaching styles are considered to be the general principles, educational and management strategies for classroom instructions. Teaching styles are also called teaching methods. You may understand what is teaching style. When the educational part and the management part of any school cope up with each other and come towards to know the mission, the statement of the school, then such type of teaching style is provided in the school. It is very necessary for the management also that teachers may get different types of equipments to teach among the students. So here the role of educational and management strategy comes, and after that classroom instructions. This is the part of teacher and first two part of the principal and management. Those three parts after the collaboration creates the teaching style. And of course, because we are the teachers, our role comes that what is the teaching style and why the teaching style and learning style is necessary for the students. You will be happy to know that such type of styles was established in the world in 20th century. Two great philosophers named John Locke and James Russell were created the style. When they researched, they found that there are the different types of students in the classroom, even in the society as well, and they have the different requirements to know the knowledge, to gather the knowledge and collect the knowledge. Because when we impart the knowledge among the students in the classroom, there are the 5 parts to deliver the knowledge. First, response. Second, relate. Third, reconsider. Fourth, reproduction, and then reconstruct. These are the parts when a student gets the knowledge from his teacher and then he delivers a new thing. Then he becomes in the position to observe all those things, whatever the teacher speaks in the classroom. So, those two philosophers given their two ideas. First, John Locke says that students should be taught according to their own physical abilities. While the James Ricks says that students should be definitely taught when they would be interacted with the teachers, they will gather more knowledge. These are the part of teaching according to those philosophers. And from here, the teaching and learning styles started his journey in the world, and the different researchers, different scholars started to give him their ideas and principles regarding this thing. So teaching and learning is a method, and it depends fully over the teacher how he creates the environment in his classroom. If why it is needed, the question comes, why such type of methods are needed when our traditional methods are already available and teachers are fully aware about that. So it is said, and it can be clearly seen that every student has different capacity and quality. Every student like to know in the different way because every student's mindset is different. So it is our duty being a teacher that we may cope up with the students according to his ability, what he understands and what he is unable to understand. Our selection of words, our selection of sentences, our selection of stories, our selection of all those things which are available in the classroom, how we use our equipments according to the different types of students. Because when a student is not unable to understand your thoughts, he will definitely not communicate with you. Then he will get frustrated and finally he will announce that he is the backward child. So here comes the teaching style, that we must understand the requirements of the student. What is his mental status? Which kind of words he is unable to understand. There are 2 or 3 kinds of students in the classroom. So which kinds of students we must have to teach, either on the first benchers, second benchers or last benchers. If we focus on the last benchers, the teaching style changes. If we teach first benchers, our style changes. But this is much challengeable job for a teacher, that he has to teach in the classroom, total classroom, and in the classroom all types of students are gathered. So the duty of teacher becomes more and more difficult, and that's why we are called the creator of the nation. Because we make a duty which is more and more difficult. Next. Now we will know what is the learning style. What is learning style? A learning style is the way that different students learn. It refers to the individual's preferred way to observe, process, comprehend and retain information. Retaining information is the last part, because you have definitely heard there are the 2 parts of education. First, either you impart the knowledge among the students, or second, you impart the information among the students. What you choose? There are some teachers who like to impart only knowledge, and some teachers only information. The bookish knowledge is simply nothing than the information. But when you observe the thing being a teacher and you relate a story with any information or knowledge, then it becomes knowledge. You are teaching a question in the classroom, you are delivering a story in the classroom, and if the story is related with the society, if the story is related with your mohalla, with your locality, even if the story is related to Bihar in India, I am sure that a student is definitely relate himself with your story and with your classroom. But if you are going to deliver a story of the Britain, of the England and the America, and the characters' name are foreigners, definitely the students does not take much interest in your story, because he is unable to communicate and relate with yourself. So, in the part of learners, you must have to think, being a learner, that what I should need being a student, and then deliver in your classroom. So such type of a style comes individual preference. In the coming time, in the process we will read that what is the individual process of teaching, what is the collaborative process of teaching, and why these are necessaries, and where these must be implemented. But first we learn, it refers to individual's preferred way to observe, possess, comprehend and retain information. This is the learner style. When the learner comes on the peaks of the knowledge, comes retain information, because after the observation and comprehension, he is in a position to observe the things, whatever the taught in the classroom, and then he delivers either in the home, in the society or in the classroom. So such type of learners are our goal, being a teacher. A good learner is always a good scholar, and learning is also an art, as teaching is also an art. Learning, sitting peacefully in the classroom is not a part of learning. There must be seen something, a spark in your body, in your style, in your eyes, in your hands, in your personality, in your body language, in your outlook. Then it comes the time that I may understand that you are listening. But if you are sitting alone and thinking something in your mind and sitting here with your body, that is not the part of learning. Although you are a silent listener here, but if you are not having any kind of eye sparkness, any kind of interaction with me, how can I say that you are a good learner? So being a learner is also a style, a art, and a good learner always becomes a good teacher, a good orator. Next. Now I will show, and we will learn about the next chapter, next part, types of teaching a style. Well, how many types of teaching a style? There are 5 types of teaching a style. This is the first style, the authority method, lecture style. That is called lecture style. It is usually preferred by the teachers, and we also in the classroom prefer such type of a style, that is lecture style, authority method. Very clear, this is the style where the teacher have the authority to relate anything among the students. He is the authorized person to deliver in the class. But what happens? A topic is given to the teacher, or teacher knows what have to teach in the class. And students being peacefully in the classroom listens everything. That is the lecture style. But it is said, and research and service has already preferred that such type of style is preferred for the university's classes, because here the teacher comes, delivers the lectures, students either gather some knowledge or memorize or read in their notebooks, and the lecture overs. This is the style which is preferred in the university level or the higher classes. Next, demonstrate method, coaching style. Nowadays, this is the popular style of teaching, demonstrate method, coaching style. Here, such type of a style is preferred in a small classroom, where not more than 40 students sit, and a teacher comes with different equipments of demonstration, like project, like websites, like YouTubes, and other things. This type of a style was implemented in 2007, when 2 teachers of America recorded their video and sent to their students. And students started to learn about all those things, whatever they had taught. But now comes the matter, is always and anywhere the internet facility is available? Of course not. And so, this type of style is not preferred all around the world, especially in the remote area of the world. But in our days, in the present era, this style is very popular, because teacher comes with projector and other equipments and started to teach students. But there is a downfall in such type of method. What is that downfall? That is very clear. Teacher is unable to interact with his students, because when a teacher starts to deliver his lectures, teacher and students interact. They have their eye connect. But when a projector goes on and a story or other things is created here, the students silently watches and listens to the story, and teacher is behind the scene. And in such condition, the students silently hears all those things, and a time comes that a student and a teacher are not connected with each other. And just think, a student is thinking in the last bench, he is unable to understand the story or the whatever the projected on the site or the screen, and then that student is not interested. So this is called dull classroom, because there is no activity, only something is going on the screen. Students are silent, teacher is behind the scene, and some are interested, some are not interested. Of course, that is dull classroom. Now comes third, the facilitator style, the activity or action. it is always praised by the scholars and the teaching persons that the facilitator style is the most appropriate and praiseful style for the teaching. Why? You may understand, if you have done any kind of action and activities in your classroom, definitely students must have enjoyed that classroom. And if you are delivering only lecture and lecture and lecture, the students must get bored. So this is a style, facilitator style, activity or action, and such type of styles are usually used in music classes, in art classes, and some concern of language classes. In science labs, because the teachers become facilitator. This style is done when a teacher asks the question to the students, but in a different way. What is the role of a facilitator against the teacher? The role of a facilitator is that facilitator always encourages the students to come forward and ask questions. While a common teacher asks the question to the students, but the facilitator always encourages students. We stand up, ask questions, I will always provide the all necessities and your educational thirst. So facilitators, if a teacher becomes facilitator among his students, he will praiseworthy always. Because students will in the position to understand all those things. They will create questions, they will take interest to asking the questions. And of course, if they create the questions and teacher answers and replies their questions, there is no any way that students will not satisfy. And if a teacher always satisfies the students, he will definitely be a good scholar. So facilitator and such type of position comes when a teacher comes in the class and says to the students that now I am standing over here, and if anyone are in the position to ask any question, this is the topic. Of course, we stand and ask the question, I reply. This is the way. And gradually the teachers creates the questionnaire towards the students, and more than 10 or 20 students are always created in the classroom to ask the different questions. Now come to the fourth part, which is the types of teaching style, that is delegator style. What is it? Of course the name says delegate. The delegator words come to the delegate. The group of students, the collaboration of students, the collaboration of works, deeds, tasks, projects. When you come forward in the classroom and you make groups of the students and you give a task to them. The students talk with each other, they plan with each other, and they create whatever you have given to them. And the role of the teacher becomes there, not to give the lecture, not to facilitate the students, not to demonstrate anything, just to watch and overlook the students. The students themselves do whatever you have given them in the groups, and the teacher only watches carefully what the students are doing. And when he gets that any kind of irregularity is doing by the students, it just knocks there. This is the kind of delegator style. When the teacher gives tasks to the classroom and the classroom is divided in different groups, that is called delegator styles. And there the teacher plays the role of a delegator because he just overlooks all the activities of the students. He does not knock them. He does not interrupt them without any reason. But when he finds any reason, he definitely interrupts. And then it is very normal phase that when you are going through a lecture, going through an action, you are going a job, you are going a duty or responsibility, and you make an error, and there is just knocked, and you recover from the error. Definitely, such type of error you never do in your life, because during the error you have been knocked. Although some students may consider that their ego has been hurt, it is possible, but this is the best way to create awareness to any people. If he is doing doing wrong, just knock. At the time, knock him. He will never do such type of mistake. So delegator plays such type of role when the students cope up with each other and create different tasks in groups. It is also said that groupism is the part of cooperation. When you become a delegator in your classroom, you create cooperation among the students. Because if I give a task and different teachers are sitting on the different tables here, you just think, definitely a competitive spirit will arise inside you that my team should definitely be win. And all of you, if sitting near the table, sitting on the table of different teachers here, if they are not in the position or they are not comfortable with each other, my task will make them cooperative, because there is not the role of individual teacher, there is the role of cooperative team, and so the cooperation will create the better result by you. So the delegator always makes the classroom cooperative and stylish, sympathetic, because it is always happens that 2, 3, 5 students once in the classroom. Sometimes they even not talk with themselves. But when a teacher becomes delegator, definitely he gives a task in the classroom, and those students who have quarrels with each other, he definitely put them in a group. Then what happens? Those students who have not in the position to talk with each other, who they are not comfortable with each other, they create a plan. They mix with each other because they have to win. Now they are not individual, they are a team. And then their cooperation comes, their cooperation creates a charisma, and then they finally win. So a delegator makes an important role when comes group methods. And finally, the last style of teaching is the hybrid method, blended learning. Most of us follow this kind of learning. As the name says, blended learning. This is also a style. You may say this is nothing a style, because hybrid style, this is hybrid style. Where comes the role of hybrid? What is the meaning of hybrid in any field? Either in the agriculture, either in the plantation, either in the literature, either in the education. What is hybrid? Of course, hybrid, that means the collaboration of all things. And when it comes, when a teacher comes in the classroom, he has to entertain the class, and he is full with knowledge. And he does not think what I have to deliver. If a person like me goes in the class of 2 standard students, and I know what I should teach, the students of class 2 is thinking the teacher is of the upper class, what he will teach, and I am thinking what I should teach, that the students of class 2 must learn. And here comes the confusion. Here my mindset, if I am a good teacher and facilitator, here does not I should play the role of teacher. I must have to become the facilitator. Because being a facilitator, I will definitely judge the minds of the students. When the students ask the questions, when they will create some questions to me, I will in the position to know what is the mental level of the students. And of course, I will come down with my mental level, and then my mental level and the students' mental level will be parallel. And then I will successfully conduct my class. This is the way. You always don't think that you are a teacher. Sometimes you are a facilitator, sometimes you are a delegator, sometimes you have to conduct a blended class also. So blended style, when you have to deliver different types of knowledge in your classroom. Although you have given the Hindi subject, and that is the substitution class, you taught some part of the Hindi, some of the knowledge of English, some mathematical knowledge, some historical knowledge, even some of the current era's knowledge, some of the knowledge regarding the newspaper, but you have to always remember that what are you going to teach that must be new and stylish. Then a student will be eager to know what you are teaching, and definitely you will be recalled at the house of the students. When you will reach at the house, he will definitely say, a new teacher has come to my classroom and he has taught me such and such. When we will teach it, blended learning. If you become in the lecture style, if you becomes coaching style, if you becomes activity or in group method, you will definitely not be remembered in the classroom and even the house of the students. But if you becomes hybrid, applies hybrid method, we will definitely be remembered. So these are the styles of teaching. Being a teacher, we may remember these things, we may apply these things in our classroom, because as a teacher, what are our role? Why we have opted such type of job in our life? Have you thought any time? And if we have a plan, or by destiny, we have become a teacher, why not we create our own teaching style? On the basis of all those things, we can create our own style. Students may remember that such and such teacher, so and so teacher teaches us in a different style. You have remembered, sometimes happens that students tell, sir, when you teach in the classroom, how 45 minutes are spent, we never know. And some of the teachers comes, we are not in the position to even 30 minutes also to cope up with him. Why such situations comes? Have you thought any time? Is there any gap between the students and the teacher? Is there any need to reform your teaching style? Do you follow all those methods? Or you are not in the position, you have developed your own style, that is the traditional way. And I would like to say here, in America, a rule was implemented by the American government. That was the individual teaching, that is called student-focused learning. You will come forward. And the rule states that every student must be assessed individually in the classroom. And near about 37 years that rule was implemented in the American schools, and the teachers were highly obliged to do all those things, and they were bored and bored. And after that, that rule was revoked. Why such a situation came? Because that was a dull classroom. The teacher is not in the position to concentrate over an individual student and always to look after him. He stands near the board and looks after the classroom and teaches all those things, but all the students are in the position to learn and gather the information. So that rule was revoked. But it is our duty to make our classroom more interesting. And it will happen when we will gradually change our style. Sometimes we give lecture, sometimes we become facilitator, sometimes we become delegator, and sometimes we become hybrid teacher. Then you will be a good teacher, because this is the teaching style to survive in the modern era. If you adopt the traditional style of teaching, going in the classroom, giving lectures, writing some of the thoughts and questions on the blackboard, it is not the process. The time is changing, and the maximum change and researches are going all around the world in the field of education. Every day new reforms, new researches, new theories, new principles, new ideologies are implemented in the education. All around the world, every scholar is doing work, and our board CBSE is adopting different types of things. So why cannot we change our style? We must have to cope up, and we must have to be forward even in the style, then we will be an able teacher, or we will be backward, and the time will come that we are not in the position to come forward with the students because their knowledge is more and more progressive than us. So we must have to also be progressive. Next. Now, teaching a style inventory. What is inventory? This is two types: teacher-centered approach versus student-centered approach. High-tech material versus low-tech material. A teacher needs different types of materials to teach. When we start to go in the classroom, in the beginning we create lesson plan. What is lesson plan? Lesson plan is the way of our journey of that particular day. This is the single day journey. We know what we have to teach. We know what students have to read. And a good teacher always becomes a good learner. When he makes a plan, he definitely gives 1 or half hour at his home to deliver the lecture in the class. But if he has not a plan, how will he give the lecture? How will he give the new things? Junior classes, once upon a time I may say that we teach students A for apple. But now in the current books, there is not written A for apple. You just remember, after the war of Russia and Ukraine, if the book was published in the Ukraine and it was written the A for atom, what is surprise? The students of Ukraine may learn A for atom, N for nuclear. We have learned N for nest, a place where we say take shelter. But they may learn N for nuclear because their era is more fast than us. The moral values are decreasing and science is just ruling over the world. Scientific ideas are ruling over the world. So there is nothing stressful if the book comes and written A for atom. A time will come and you will have to teach among the students. Why not A for ant? Why always A for apple? Why always B for ball? Why not some different words? Why not we create an alphabetical words for our students in the school? Why will always teach whatever written in the book? So that time has gone. The time has come of, we have definitely watched different types of television and serials and shows. What the time says, this is the time of neither class, nor a style, nor the semi-style. This is the time of fusion. And when the role of fusion comes, it is needed that you are aware of all kinds of knowledge. You are in the position to deliver something about all the things in your classroom, although you are the expert of a subject. A teacher, especially of the primary section, is considered to know about all the subjects because the subject is collaborative. The subject is composite. So it is needed by him that he must follow the rules of teaching a style. Now look at the teacher-centered approach and student-centered approach. That is very clear. We daily follow such type of rules. It is in our practice. Teacher-centered approach. The students knows all those things what the teacher teaches in the classroom. We don't go beyond the knowledge of the teacher. It is said this is the most errorful style by the teacher because we definitely do. Sometimes it happens, a student comes and shows his homework, we say, no, this is wrong. But we never teach what is right. We must write an answer on the board and say, this is the ideal answer. And you may create such type of answers according to your own way, in your own language, in your own words. Then that will be his own and real answer. But generally it is seen in the primary section, even in the Bihar government and survey, the name of the institution is ASAR. ASAR is a very big institution of the survey, in the survey field. By the Bihar government, it always makes a survey among the students below the standard 8. But the reports of ASAR says that students are just in the position to imitate. They never create. So are we producing imitator in our classrooms? We will have to think. Either we are promoting creators or imitators. What we are doing in our classrooms? If we are always promoting imitators, yes, you are right, because you have learned and remembered the answer what I have taught in the classroom. Is it right? Or we encourage and congratulate that students who has answered himself, either it is errorful. In the recent workshop of CBSE of the marking scheme and copy checking, it has also been announced, and the CBSE has also given a circular also. Those students who have approached by themselves to answer in the copies, and although they are grammatically little bit errorful, they should be prior in getting the marks in the condition to those students who have answered in a proper way, that is called Google University or the bookish likeness. That is the way to create awareness among students to give the answer by themselves, not to follow either the teacher or the book. That was the way by the teachers. And in all boards of the world are promoting students to do all the things according to their own way. Why I have earlier said that now our role is not to being a teacher. Our role is just to be a counselor. We have now become a counselor. We just suggest a student to do those things. They are in the position to follow all those things. They are capable to understand all those things. Different study materials are present. Why will they prefer us? In the classroom, they will learn through the different sites, different materials, but we are essential for them. And our utility will always be remembered by them if we perform like a teacher, a facilitator, a delegator. And it depends when teacher-centered approach comes. When a teacher becomes authority of the class, when he thinks that I have to create some of the better minds in this classroom, I have to create intelligent mind in this classroom, I have to create either a orator, either a student with scientific vision, either a good player, either a good musician, either a good reader, either a good writer, either a good singer, then we become a center-approached, center-based teacher. Because we will in the position to say that I have created 4 students, now they are a good singer, they are a good player, they are a good scientific vision, they have done different types of achievements. Here the teacher approach is maximum important for the students. But now the time comes for a student-centered approach. What is a student-centered approach? Here, this may be said that this is a partial approach because a teacher selects students, 1 or 2 students in the class, which have a brilliant mind. And the teacher focuses on those 2 students. He helps He gives them tasks. He watches everywhere of the students. He gives different types of suggestions, materials, and all those things which are necessary for their development. And he focuses over the student. But they are moving and making his own creation. It happens that he does not remember another 38 students who are sitting in the class. And here the role of teacher becomes partial. Although he is producing two brilliant minds in the class, but he is not doing his role as a teacher, as 38 students are fully neglected. So what we should have to do? The student-centered approach says that we must give some extra time, some extra benefit to those students who are extraordinary in the classroom. First you teach, and you must remember that you are standing in front of 40 students and you have to do the work for 40 students. And if you find that 2 students have the brilliant mind and they are genius, you give them extra time, you assign them extra homework, and then make them more and more curious to ask. Never take advantage that you are making two brilliant minds in the classroom, so you will neglect 38 students or the other students of the class. This is the student-centered approach. Now comes here high-tech material versus low-tech material. As the name says, those are the parts of teaching. What is the high-tech material? What is the low-tech material? When a principle comes in the light, or when any ideology is implemented, it is always becomes in the mind that such type of ideology will be implemented in the remote areas of the school as well as in the big and famous schools of the country. But the ideology is same. So what should be done? You may think a school with good earning and having different types of equipments and high-tech materials like a smart classroom, and all the classroom are very well facilitated, smart classroom, projector, well-furnished teachers, and all those things which are necessary for the modern education. There is very easy to teach. Everything is available. You have to just go and deliver your lecture, make yourself comfortable, because you have also got the brilliant minds in your class. Because the school is also top class. So he has taken the admission of top brain mind, top merit mind. So there is no problem. If you have to get a class and all the students are above 90% marks, what will be the problem? You usually teach them. But there is a classroom where students have 45 marks and another 95% marks, gathering students also in the classroom. The teaching style will definitely be changed. So those school management strategies belongs to the high-tech material. Next, they plan for their students that how they can focus. And they use different types of equipments for their students. There are many teaching materials available in the world. They use them. You have only to demonstrate those things, and teacher will say about those equipments and students in the position to learn. But what about those schools who have not in the capacity, who have not their income to provide many kinds of facilities for their students? So here comes some different parts of teaching. Next. Yes. This is the low-tech approach. That is called kinesthetic learning, tactic or hands-on learning. And second, differentiated instructions. These are the two kinds which we may apply. Kinesthetic learning. Yesterday, that was the best way of kinesthetic learning. When the group of students were running in the park, being a train and other roles playing. That was the best example of hands-on learning. Because you have no equipment, you have no any thing which is given to you by the management, but you have ideas, you like to implement them. So what we'll do? We'll apply hands-on activities. You will call the students. There are two ways. A management provides you different kinds of ball with different colors. And you have to teach the students. You just call them, bring the white ball, bring the red ball, bring the yellow ball, and the student is going and bringing all those things, whatever you are ordering. But yesterday what happened? Students were watching the flowers. That is open sky game. There was also color. There was also different types of things in the nature. So if you believe in hands-on learning, kinesthetic learning, you have to watch and search your learning materials in the nature, in your playground, in your school park. And then you will be able to cope up and become the parallel even forward to the high-tech material. If you have insight, if you have the sight to search the study materials from the nature, if you are in the position to create study materials with papers, with raw materials, then this type of tactic learning will be applied by in the classroom, and that will be the best classroom because you have never burdened your management and you created an interesting and benefited and fruitful classroom. There is no need of any kind of equipment, and you made all those things. A good teacher always likes to be the part of hands-on learning because this will make himself also satisfied and busy in activity. Not only the students, but teacher also always busy in activity with hands-on learning. And another, differentiated instructions. The title is sufficient to express himself. Differentiated. Differentiate. You are the, if you allow me to, I can say that you are the sea of knowledge, you are the river of knowledge, or either you are the pond of knowledge. So you can instruct, you can moderate, you can facilitate to your students in different way. I know a teacher sitting here of our school. She imparted the education among the students that how we can learn the growing of seeds and what becomes when a seed grows up and how it happens, what is the process of growing seeds. The teacher instructed students to bring different kinds of seeds from their home, and students brought different seeds, mustard seeds and other kinds of seeds, with the soil in a bottle or in the different bowls and other things with themselves. Students themselves given the seeds in the soil, watered, and after 15 or 7 days, the seeds started to grow. You may think that was the endless joy of the students when they saw that their seeds had started to grow up and the first green leaf came out. Can you imagine the happiness of the students? That is the hands-on learning. And they knew what the different kinds of seeds are and how they look after being grown up. This is the way. There is no any kind of expenditure in it. No any kind of expenditure. But students learned. We say, and we are always alleged that boarding students, CBS students and more than don't know how the wheat grown-ups, where the rice comes. Either the rice comes in the fields on the trees. It is always alleged for the students of the modern era. But if we relate them with the soil, if we always plan to make our students always be down, always down to earth, then of course there is no need of any moral value classes. We must think they are our best part and we have to create best. This is the differentiated instructions. And next, this is the classroom. Way of high-tech approach. I have earlier said, flipped classroom, project-based learning, personalized learning, and game-based learning. These are the way when a well-known and established school provides for its students, and here the teacher has no any role, much role, I may say. There is no much role because flipped classroom is always well facilitated, well equipped. We have to go and deliver lecture. Project based. I have earlier said that here the teacher becomes behind the screen. There is no role, and this is called dull classroom because a student does not cope up with the language which is delivered by the screen. You just think here is going something, and the last bencher or the first bencher student is not understanding what is delivering on the screen. So how he will relate himself? So he will be silent and start to think outside the campus. And then this type of learning is not fruitful for him. Personalized learning, this is also not fruitful. As I have given the example of America. Here the individual construction is not possible. So personalized learning is also not possible. How can you personalize any student? This is possible when you will neglect many of the students. Then you will personalize the students. So you just remember, if you have to follow certain type of method, you have to give some extra time for the students. You give extra assignment, extra time, extra care, then you will be able to do such type of things. And game based, this is popular and collaborative. You call all the students in the ground, give them different types of games which is related to the education, either they are learning or timetable or other things, and then make them creative. All these things are based on the scientific research. We just have to follow and create all those things next. Now, this is teaching methods. It has already been explained. This is the graph only. Flipped classroom, direct instructions, and kinesthetic learning. Kinesthetic learning is cleared that what is kinesthetic learning? We may say that when a teacher creates hands-on learning, this is also called, kinesthetic learning is called tactic learning. The teacher himself creates tasks, activities by himself and then delivers in the classroom. And direct instructions, you have grouped the students in a field, you have called the students, given instructions, he demonstrates the task and goes. And next another student comes. So this is the direct instruction. And here it is written personalized learning, game-based learning, and different instructions, expenditure learning. Nowadays, when sometimes we get chance to know about the teaching style of those schools who have ranked top 10 in the world. What they teach? I just read in a paper that nowadays schools are teaching students from the beginning, from class 1, that what is the importance of money. Students are taught the importance of money and the usage and misuses of money from the beginning. Why it happens? Why the scientific researchers and the educators has thought that we must teach the students about the importance of money? Because it is very clear and very simple logic behind it. Money has made us mad. We are not following money. We are running behind the money. We are just grabbing money. So it is taught in the students that money is not the part of life. Money is the way of life. Money is not the target of life. Money is way to survive the life. And when students will learn the importance of money in such way, definitely they will not run behind the money following different types of legal or illegal ways. Different schools. And second part of that is also, how can earn money? How can earn money? Very tedious to earn the money. When the students from 3 and 4 class, when in his innocent mind, such type of ideas comes, thus my father labors hard and hard to send me in the school, and money getting or money earning is most tedious task in the world. He will, in the condition, he will honor the money. But misfortunately, we teach our students, our child, even our houses also, whatever our child says, we just provide it. Or either in 3 or 4 days we make our plan and gives those things. So he does not understand the importance of money. We have de-evaluated. We are guilty for them. You have not taught them that what is the importance of money, it is said. We are taught how to swim like a fish. We are taught how to fly like a bird. But we never taught how to live like a human being. There is no any syllabus of human being. There is no any book where it is taught. It is our inner strength that we become a human being. But in the present era, it is also taught in different types of schools where human beings are created. Why it was needed by the educators that an university should be established on the name of Gandhian philosophy? We all know about the Gandhian ideologies, but a special university was created, Gandhian philosophy, because that was the need of the era. That was the requirement of the time. So we must remember that being a teacher is not great. Being a good counselor, being a well-wisher and a good guide, because we are told we are the friend, philosopher and guide for the students. So when we are friend for the students, when we are philosopher, and when we becomes the guide, when we turn from friend to guide for our students, that is the most important part. And when we become the real guide for our students, definitely a time will come that will also be make our footprints on the sands of time of the teaching history. What H.W. Longfellow says, H.W. Longfellow, the great poet, says, lives of great men all remind us that we can make our lives sublime, and before the departing of this world we can leave our footprints on the sands of time. The history is fully filled up with the great personalities who had become the great teacher, and who cannot remember and who will forget the great Radha Krishna? From teacher to president, from teacher to delegator, who can forget? Just remember, this is our role. So we should remember our role and importance in the society. We are the creator, and we must have to play our role, and this will only happen when we will follow the teaching and learning style. Being a teacher, we must have to care our learners. Then we will be praiseworthy in the society, all the by and through the all people. Thank you everyone for listening to me. Thank you.